Hey friends, so Chilton Web with Glycon just released an update that's mind-blowing. It's using finger and hand tracking on the Oculus Quest for Mocap, motion capture, and I just want to show you how it works and what I found so far. And let's get into the process of installing it onto the Oculus Quest, and then I'll go into the actual program and show you how you can get that animation that you record of yourself performing an action onto an animated character. So if you have not already, you need to go to liberty3d.com and just go ahead and get the Glycon Pro version for $99. That'll get you all the updates until this version 2, I guess, comes out. Once you do that, you'll get this latest edition of the Quest pack. The best way to install this onto your Quest is actually to load side quests. This allows you to load multiple apps that are not found inside the Oculus store, and you'll connect your Quest to this, basically hardwire plugging it in, and then you'll see a link to install APK file from folder. So you'll click that, and then you go and find the download pack file, open that, and just open this file. It's going to run through the setup, and actually this is in real time. It's super fast, and it is done. So now you could close this and actually get into the Quest here. So we're going to go to library. It's listed under unknown sources. So any app that you load that is outside of the Quest Oculus library, it's going to be listed in unknown sources. So go to the Glycon. It's the first one there. You can see that I'm using hand tracking inside the Quest. So now here we are inside the system. So this is what it looks like in the edit mode. This is the kind of the main room that you're in. There's a little info board there when you first come in, and you've got a series of menus in front of you. You can see that my hands are showing up. I can move them around in the mirror. If I stand up, I stand up, and yeah, so it's kind of cool little environment here. There's a live and a edit mode. You see I pinched with my left fingers and the menu went away. It's supposed to like reset in front of you and also pull up and down the menus. So depending how sensitive your fingers are with the clicking, it can sometimes, if you make that motion without thinking about it, you will actually trigger the menus to go away or pull up sometimes. So these are all the different little settings you can adjust. I wasn't quite sure how to get them to move back and forth. Some of the stuff is kind of beta right now as far as in this room, and I think he is adjusting it, but that doesn't, the fact that you can track fingers and all that makes up for kind of the level that this is at right now. Every time I click, the menus go away by left pinching. You can see here I'm trying to adjust something, and maybe I'm not supposed to be able to adjust that, but I could not get it to slide on the bar, and I'm actually not sure what that actually goes to. Maybe it doesn't even adjust, but I tried to adjust some of these others and it didn't quite work. It's kind of tricky. And the menus went away when I accidentally pinched. So I guess I need to get used to using this live hand tracking and how it's all going to work. So once you get into the, let's go ahead and jump in to the live mode. I'm going to skip over some of this stuff real quick and get right into the live mode so we can record something. All right, so with your right finger, just press that live button there with the white dot, and you'll jump into this setting here. You can now see it says start recording. And I found that you kind of got to use a combination of the controller as well as your finger tracking, because you want to actually record the finger tracking, but in order to stop the recording, I could not figure out a way to stop the recording without pressing the button on the controller. So I did a bunch of hand motions, kind of moved my fingers around and just testing out the system, and it works really well. It's pretty interesting how it records everything. And then when you're ready to stop, you gotta know that you gotta press the button, I guess. Unless I tried to reach for that red dot, it wouldn't do anything. I didn't see a menu there, and if I tried to pinch with my left hand, no menu would pop up. So I ended up reaching for the controller and just stopping the recording with my Quest hand controller. If you record for too long, which is what happened to me, it'll actually stop recording and then start recording again. So I think it overwrites the previous recording. So you basically need to record for a certain amount of time and then stop it before it actually resets. So I went back into edit mode here, this is recorded in 2 different sessions. I'm going to go back to live, and I'm going to record a new one and actually try to stop it and save it. So here I am doing some motion stuff, recording, and yada yada, finger movements. Pretty awesome. And yeah, reach up. It's tracking really well with the Quest and the fingers and everything. So all right, so I turned it off on the controller and brought the menu back up, and you go to this right here, the file export, and we'll export animation. And you'll see it runs through exporting animation. It gets to about 78, then it pauses, and I think that's normal. The previous version did a similar thing. I think it was a different number, but it basically like freezes for just a moment, and then it says export finished. So I think it's just finishing up that last remaining count. And then to get out, you actually have to press the menu button on the Quest controller. So previous versions of this app, you would just go to your file explorer and search for Glycon, and you'll pull up the FBX files. And I have one from previous version still in there, but it doesn't list any of the others. So on this version, you actually need to go to the SideQuest app that you use to load the software and open that up, go to the SD card, double click Android, then go to data, and then you'll see the Glycon folder there. Go to files, and here you'll see under Glycon files all the motion capture files that you recorded. So let's download one of these, that 3.6 version. The top one is from previous version. So we'll select the location of the download, put it on our desktop, and save that. So I'm just going to close this. I'm going to open 3D Exchange. And in order to get this animation onto an animated character, you need to bring in the XBot. And the XBot is a 3D character that you can download from Mixamo. If you have a subscription to that, download that 3D character. This is the only way that I've found to add these animations to a character that can be brought into iClone. So you drag that XBX file into the animation section of this character, and you'll see them kind of listed on the right there, and it populates that, so you can now double click that and it runs through that animation that you recorded. So you can see I've got some finger movements, hand movements. There's obviously some mistakes that you'll have to correct in iClone or whatever animation software you're using, but it's got generally most everything there, and pretty accurate. There's a little bit of wiggle in the fingers, but I think you could probably smooth some of that stuff out, or if you weren't just sitting there, it wouldn't seem as odd as it is. Looking at how it tracks the fingers is pretty interesting, because you can really wave them around. I think there's a huge asset to any kind of person doing motion capture, and so I highly suggest that you go over to Liberty 3D and download this program, start using it with your Quest, and start making things move.